Clean it like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.
Muslim, I have a question for you. Because can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can
Muslim.
ask a question. The stage is
Yeah.
pretty chill, so yeah.
Muslim Meta, are you there?
Yeah, you can call me Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
here.
yeah. Okay, so I saw the video with you and Darkins, right? And you said something that I think you really need to clarify because there's so much confusion in it. I'm paraphrasing, right? That if I remember, Dawkins said to you something that does does God does do you know something that God doesn't know something, right? And you said something strange. He said yes, that you know something that God doesn't know something that Allah doesn't know. Can you clarify that? Otherwise, maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Yeah, that's right. I do, and so do you. So does everyone in this room.
What do you mean? I'm trying to understand.
So I know the proposition or the statement that I am Jake or I am the Muslim metaphysician, and God not only doesn't know that, but He couldn't possibly know that.
Can you clarify because it's a confusing language, really confusing language.
Um, it's pretty simple to me. I mean, your name is Benny, right? So do you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Benny?
No, of course not. He's not his creation. Of
Oh,
course not.
right. So he's not. So he couldn't know that he is something that he isn't.
He,
So I know that I'm Jake. He knows that I am Jake, but he doesn't know that he is Jake. Is that clear?
it's a very confusing. To be honest, bro, it's a very confusing language.
Are you saying something like this, Jake? That like God knows what it's like to be Jake, but he does not know what it's like to actually exist as Jake, because God can't exist as anyone other than himself?
Um, Not quite. So what I'm saying is I can know in terms of assent to the proposition that I am Jake. God couldn't possibly do that because he is not Jake. And for him to know that he is Jake would would be for him to know something that is false. And God knows only true propositions. He doesn't know false ones. Therefore, he could not know that he is Jake. I don't
I
know. I
think
think it's pretty simple.
I think the word "no" is the wrong word, bro. No is a very. If you say that Allah doesn't know, that is you will come into a black hole, and
No, there's
it's
no
very
black
dangerous
hole.
hole. It's a dangerous hole.
What's do you believe? Okay, how about this? Do you
Yeah,
know that you're Benny?
yeah, I know that I'm Benny.
Okay, so if you know that you're Benny, then it's not an inappropriate usage of the term no.
But
It's
you
an
using
appropriate
it
usage.
against Allah, though. You using it against Allah. That's a dangerous language.
I'm not using it against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Astaghfirullah. I'm
Astaghfirullah.
simply saying I'm simply saying to you that in the way that you said that you know Benny, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could never make that statement that he knows that he is Benny, because that would be false.
That's a day, Fateh. If you're there, do you know? Do you understand me? That it's a dangerous language to use if you put it
No,
that
I
way.
It
don't.
being dangerous. No, no, no. No, Jake can defend himself. He doesn't need me to explain it.
It,
I think what Jake is saying is that. Go ahead, Jake. I don't
I'm
want to
trying
cut
to.
you
I'm
off.
trying to. I'm
it
trying.
sounds like he's making an
No, 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 no,
identity
no. It's not
statement.
about defending. It's not about
But, but, but,
defending.
Benny, it sounds like he's making an identity statement, and because God is not me, God will not ever identify himself as me. God may know how I feel, may know me better than I know myself, but God's never going to identify himself as me. So that makes sense. So God does
But
not know what it's like to identify himself is me, because why would God do that?
The
No,
the
but this is
proposition is
dangerous.
directly related to you. The
No,
proposition is reflective of you as identical to yourself. If I'm getting that correct,
Yeah, I mean, God knows what it's what it. God can know what it's like to be Jake, right? In a certain sense, but he cannot know that he is Jake because that's a false uh, statement.
but that
Because
is
Allah is
no.
not Jake and Allah is not James.
Yeah, it's
So how could
the same
God
thing
know
with
that he is
Christian
us?
God. I mean, is the Christian God does Christian God know that he is James Gibson? Well, of course not. If he did, then he wouldn't be God because he would know something that's false, or he wouldn't be God because he would be James Gibson.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
just
sense.
obvious.
that or he'd be pantheistic. Or you could just get rid of that and say it's pantheism. I think that collapses to pantheism if you affirm
Well,
that God knows that he is Jake and he knows himself to be God, and that would just be
if
pantheism, I
you
think.
believed that
Correct.
like somehow you were like hive mind and everybody was God, but that makes perfect sense that God wouldn't know that he's me because he's not me. He by definition can't be his creation.
Of course. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand what the problem is.
Benny, just as a recommendation, I would say um, abstain from the topic and maybe like get a little bit of a read on this. We're basically saying that the proposition "I am me" is identical just to me. God is not me, therefore He cannot know the proposition that I am me. It's sort of
No, but
someone
it's
can
a
get
dangerous
confused to it.
language, bro. No Muslim talks like this, bro. We don't get out of the way. It's really getting out of your way.
Yeah, some Muslims say
Really
more
stepping
more
out of the
terrible things
safe
than
zone,
that, my friend.
bro.
Jake
Can I
is not
finish?
saying anything
No, no,
outlandish
no,
here.
no, no, no. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. But it's really stepping out of your safe zone to say that Allah doesn't know. You know what I mean? It's a strange language. I don't think it's a helpful. No Muslims talk like this typically. I don't see any Muslim talk like this, right? To get out of the safe zone and say such things. No, I never heard Muslims say this. You know what I
You
mean?
have
Not,
never
it's not
heard
an
say
attack
that
to
doesn't mean
Muslims.
nobody has said it, my friend. It's just a matter
But
of
would you
research.
rather, just so I can follow Benny's thoughts, so you would rather Jake and the other Muslim friend on stage to affirm something false about God than to affirm something true about God because of the language potential confusion?
No, it's s- saying that Allah doesn't know. The word "know" is the key, right? It's a day for me.
There's no substitute for it, Benny. There's literally no other word we can
I,
No,
substitute
but
no for.
Benny,
it's
would you say
it's a dangerous language, bro.
Benny,
It's a
would you
dangerous
say that
language.
Allah knows what it's like to not exist?
I don't go in that language. It's stepping out of the safe
Well,
zone
I'm just saying is that in the
no,
same
I'm
way
not.
that we're affirming this, I
James,
would say that
Allah is all
I'll
knowing,
be
but that's
quick
let
with
all.
Ben.
him
We
let
can,
him take let him
yeah.
Yeah.
take the quiet.
But what does it mean? Hold on. Benny, what does it mean for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to know everything? What does that mean?
That He knows everything. That's
Yeah,
beyond my
but
comprehension.
what does that mean though?
That's everything. Everything that is everything is
So,
beyond my
so
comprehension.
okay, but no, it's not beyond your comprehension.
Yes, it
Does
is.
does he know does he know false propositions?
What do you mean by that? There is no false propositions.
I mean, I've given you examples. Does Allah know that he is a sinner?
That He is what? Sorry.
Does he know that he is a sinner?
Does He know that He is a sinner? It's a tricky language, bro. I'm not going into
Let
it.
let
Sorry.
me explain,
No,
Benny,
it's
Benny,
very
Benny,
simple. He doesn't know that. He couldn't possibly know it because it's not
I
true.
know, but it's a tricky language. It's very tricky.
Benny, Benny.
No,
Let me
it's
explain
simple,
to you
bro.
what propositions mean. Let me explain what propositions mean. Propositions are truth statements, meaning that they're speaking about something that is the case. It is the case that God is not me. So therefore, God cannot know a false proposition. A false proposition doesn't correspond to reality. That's what a proposition means.
No, but it's going deeper than that. If I heard maybe we listen again what you said to Darth Dawkins? Maybe you have the clip because it's different
I
than what
don't.
you're
I'm at
saying.
work. I don't have work. I'm at work. I don't have it in front of
I'm
me.
I don't
But
have the
but
timestamp or any of that either. If you have the timestamp, Benny, I'm happy to play it, but I don't know that it's gonna
yeah, it's not
give
going
any
to
more
change anything. I mean,
clarification.
we're just. I'm explaining to you what I meant when I said that, and not only that, Darth Dawkins actually agreed with me when I made that statement. It's not like it's something he objected to. So I'm not really sure why this is bothering you.
No, because you said that Allah doesn't know. The key word is no, not about. I agree. I can understand where you're coming from, but it's stepping out of your safe zone, right? And saying about
He,
I
Allah that
feel
He
he's
doesn't
really
saying
know.
that
safe,
We don't
dude.
say that. We don't
I
say that. We
I
don't say
Benny.
that.
I feel very safe. Alhamdulillah.
So
No, but
typically, Benny, the way it is we say that God knows all true
Benny,
propositions,
I lagged off
but
for just a
but
minute. Do you
God does
understand what
not.
I mean by
Real quick,
propositions?
hold on, real quick. Let me just land my sentence. We're saying that Allah or God know all true propositions, but they don't know, but He does not know false propositions. So God can't know something that's not true because God is not Jake. I am not God. Then God could not know that He is me or Jake.
no is the key. We don't use that. We don't say Allah doesn't know. We don't use
Okay,
that.
Benny.
We don't use that, bro.
Let me give you
No is the
another
key.
Benny,
example.
it's not a
Let
matter
me
of you not knowing
hold
what that
on,
applies.
hold on.
Benny,
Let me give him another example. So let's deal with a different attribute instead of knowledge. So let's talk about power. Does God have the power to lie? Can God lie?
I'm not going into that, bro. I'm not going into that.
So you would
That's a
not affirm, would you affirm that God cannot lie? Do you affirm that?
yeah. He's the truth, so I affirm that. Yeah, one of his attributes is the truth. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you cannot lie.
Okay, so is it a fair statement to say that God cannot lie?
Yeah, it's a fair statement. Yes.
Okay, but then you could do the same thing and say, oh, well, Jake, you're saying that God can't do something, but we believe that he can do everything. It's the same point. It's the exact
No,
same
the
point.
keyword is no. The keyword is no. You said
And
about
this,
Allah, He
it's the
doesn't
same thing
know.
here. You're saying, you're
No,
basically saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have the power to lie. That's what you're saying.
no, it's different point because you're talking about knowing. That's the point. You're talking
I'm
about
giving
knowing.
you with another sifa, another attribute. I'm showing you that you can do the same thing for other attributes.
Allah is all knowing, right?
Yeah, he's
So
all knowing. What that means is he knows all true propositions and he doesn't know false propositions.
I would argue
He
that
doesn't believe anything that's false.
no, he doesn't believe, but he knows it. He knows it's false, right? He
Yeah, but
knows it's false.
he doesn't believe something that is false.
No, he doesn't believe. Yeah, you're right. There's a change in the words. So you can say he doesn't believe what is. Of course, believe is okay. We don't use believe for God. We don't say that. Astaghfirullah. But if you say he doesn't know, that's dangerous language for me. You know what I mean?
He doesn't think something that is false is true.
Yeah, but he still knows that is something that is. He knows what is true because he's the truth.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
opposite
but
yeah,
is not.
in this,
he doesn't. He listen. I gave an example about power and his ability to do this or that, and you don't have a problem with saying that God cannot do something, but you have a problem with saying that God cannot know something. So it just sounds like it's a problem with you with the language, but really there's no difference between the two statements.
No, because Allah is the truth, right? Allah is the truth. So everything that comes from the truth is the truth. So it cannot go against, of course, the attribute. But if you say Allah doesn't know, it goes against the attribute of all knowing. So it's a wrong use of words. It's semantics, maybe. It's just semantics, end of the day. but it's a dangerous
Yeah.
word to use. It's a,
Uh,
if you put what?
Benny,
Wait. My conclusion. This is my conclusion, and I'm done. If you put as a Muslim, if you put in one sentence Allah and doesn't know, will cause a lot of trouble because it's a dangerous language. That's the only thing I'm saying. But for the rest, I can
Maybe,
understand.
maybe for people who don't understand what's being said, but I think for people who understand what's being said, there's no problem.
No Muslim says that Allah doesn't know. No Muslim says that,
Are
bro.
you
No
are you
Muslim
saying
says
that I'm not a
that.
Muslim?
Of course you're a Muslim, but I'm saying you. It's
Well,
you.
I'm saying
No,
it. I'm saying
but you
there
are
are
the
things he
first
can't
Muslim I
know,
heard
and
this.
there are things I'm saying there are things he can't know and things he can't do. So what?
Can no. That's who's nobody's. What do you mean he can know?
Benny, Benny,
That's strange
Benny.
language, bro. You
There are
cannot say about
things,
No,
Allah
I
he
just
can
explained
know.
it to you very clearly.
No, it's strange, bro. It's strange. Sorry.
Benny, Benny. Lay Muslims are going to say something like this: God is capable of all things. But now you just dismiss the idea that God can lie. The same thing can be done with knowing.
Yeah, we already explained it to him. It's not going to go anywhere else. So
خلاص,
that's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're
just
Think of it like
halas. That's it.
this, Benny. No person knows philosophy, Christian, Muslim, atheist, is going to assert that God can know what it's like to not exist if he's never had a non-existence, or that God can know what it's like um, to identify himself as me. No one, I think, is ever going to make those kind of statements, or no one's going to say that God can. Well, no rational person is going to say that God can lie. Um, in the same sense, that's just what's trying to be conveyed here. We also had another guest join the stage. His name is Muslim Man, and then Godless Girl.
Hi.
hello.
Um, Jake,
Well,
I just wanted to say something to Jake first. I have this principle, like, it's just a preference. I'm not I have an argument for doing anything, but I think you gotta clean up your own house before you like try to go after other people. So like I spend most of my time attacking my fellow atheists because they're stupid. And most of your Muslim brothers, it's just pitiful. You and Khalil need to stop debating atheists and Christians and help your Muslim brothers be rational.
I mean, can't he do both at the same time?
Um. So, does it bother you, Godless?
No, your behavior doesn't bother me, but my fellow atheists bother me. I just
I agree with you, but Godless, if you noticed, that's one of the reasons why I don't um, hang out in Muslim rooms that long or are moderated on their stages because I think most of them don't know how to argue or really hold a conversation. So I just can't really be around it too long. Otherwise, it's frustrating.
I guess in a way, even though I was just insulting Muslims generally, I was really complimenting you and Khalil. That was kind of meant as a compliment on you and Khalil because you're at the very top of the Muslim debaters.
I don't know about that, but I just, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think most Muslims on this app and other places shouldn't be doing what we call dawah because they don't know what the hell they're talking about half the time or most of the time.
Philosophical leeches. Like I told James early on, they're just going to espouse the same things they heard from a popular deck. But again, opinion.
I'll give you like because we're all being charitable and discussing our own camps. I'll give you a Christian example. John Lee should not be doing any like apologetics at this point. He should be taking some time to read, study, and to properly convey his concepts. Um, in the same sense, I'll look at myself. I've been a Christian again a couple years. Should I be online doing Greek tutelage? Absolutely not. Should I be online teaching somebody the Hebrew? Absolutely not. Can I go to resources or show you resources to go to get information and back up any arguments I would make? Yes, but there's certain things that we're qualified for and certain things that we're not qualified for. And this I'll steal a line from Jake. A lot of people don't stay in their lane. A lot of people drive right into the neighbor's lane, and then when they crash the car, they're just not sure what happened.
I think even Jake can testify that I've bombarded him with questions upon questions like almost a year ago because I just like redoing everything. But beyond that, I don't think there's any reason to continue with. I don't want to make this an echo chamber. So if anybody has a question or anything of the sort, you can ask, so we can keep the conversation a little bit productive, I guess.
Yeah, I made sure to follow you too so we can have a future conversation.
Absolutely,
Who did
would
you
be my
follow?
pleasure.
Vathek?
Yeah, in fact, I followed him because very polite, very knowledgeable. And one thing that's probably an issue in learning certain things about Islam is there's a lot of stuff that's still written in that language and it's not translated to English yet. So you need to talk to different people who know different things and different perspectives, and that way you can learn more. So at least I'm adequately trying to do an internal critique on the individual I'm talking to and not making them defend a position that they don't even hold.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to understand how it is controversial to say something like God does not know that he is a liar. Like a child,
Uh,
someone who is like
hmm.
4 years old could understand that, I think. I
Daniel,
mean,
it
Well,
stems from
Daniel, not everybody has the knowledge of Pope Francis, sir. So, you have to be careful.
okay.
it's a form of pseudo religiosity, Daniel. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying it's. I don't want to sound harsh, but it really just sounds like pseudo religiosity, just like an uneducated take on religion that just gives it like its primitive look that atheists for years have bombarded with. It's not like the atheist doesn't have a reference point to his claims that it's primitive or Mysterian or just doesn't give explanations.
Look, end of the day, Allah knows everything, right? That's his one of his attributes, right? So
I guess
you cannot.
Subhanallah.
Okay, wait. Okay, so if you say Allah cannot lie, it's confirming his attribute that he's the truth. One of his attributes is haq, right? He's the truth. So everything that comes from him is the truth. He is the truth. And one of his attributes is all knowing, right? So you cannot put in one sentence Allah and not knowing in one sentence. That's taking you out of the safe zone,
So,
taking you in a
so
deep
Benny, if
hole.
you,
That's very dangerous.
Dude,
So I
dude,
would recommend.
Benny,
so
this
Benny,
is
with
the
all due
point. No,
respect,
hold on,
okay,
James. Let me
good.
just, can I just address him? Benny, listen, you want to say that you're staying in the safe zone? What you're really staying in is in the ignorant zone. You're just saying something that makes you uncomfortable because you don't really understand the topic. And that's why you're the type of person, I'm sorry to say, that should not be giving dawah because you don't know what you're talking about.
But saying that Allah doesn't know, nobody, no,
I can
that's
give
not.
you I can
You
give
don't
you
have to do that in
examples. I can
dawah,
give
bro.
you
You don't have to do that
examples.
in
I
dawah.
can give you examples.
Okay, tell me, what does he not
Can
know? Give
can
me.
can you access Arabic sources
Yeah, yeah.
so you can read Arabic? Where are you from, Benny?
I'm from Europe,
You're from Europe.
but I'm talking about like I said before, not about the philosophy behind it. I'm talking about the word knowing. You cannot say
Yeah,
to
I can
Allah, He
give you
doesn't know, bro.
examples of that. I can give you
You
examples of
you
that.
said to wait now I remember you said to Dog Dawkins, and I think you need to clarify in a video or something because many people will hunt you about, or many people will hunt you like Shamsi and Mohammed Hijab going back and forth, right?
What are
We'll
you
come back
talking
to hunt you.
about? What does this have to do with
Okay,
hijab and
okay,
Shamsi? What are you
okay.
talking
No, no,
about?
no problem, no problem. It will come back to haunt you. Trust me. if you're not clarifying, because you said that you know
Listen, dude.
you said
Listen,
wait
dude. I
wait
listen. Listen. Nothing's coming back to haunt me.
it will,
Only
bro,
thing
it
I
will.
fear is Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. I
Yes,
don't
yes,
care. I don't
yeah, you're
care
right.
what Benny has to say, or Johnny from down the block, or Muhammad Hijab, or Shamsi, or any. I don't give a damn.
You're right, you're
Doesn't
right,
faze
you're right.
me. So
You're right.
what
Okay,
The
so end of
you're
the
plainest
you
day,
want
truth,
to
Benny.
you want to say that I can show you examples of ulama saying similar things that I'm saying, and then what are you going to say? Then you're going to attack them too?
no, I think what you said to Dog Dog is that maybe you need to clarify. You said that you
So
know
Dude,
something
I
that
Let me
just
tell
Allah
you.
doesn't
clarified it.
know.
I just clarified it for the past 30 minutes.
No,
Now you
because
can
the
I'm
keyword is
either
just gonna say
knowing.
one.
no,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna say one
Habibi.
sentence, and then I'm
Hold on
gonna
a
let you
second,
guys.
James, please let me deal with this guy for a second, please. Listen, you can either take the clarification that I gave you for the past 30 minutes, or you can say, Jake, I think you're wrong, and I'll say, have a nice day. That's it.
Bro, I
Khalas. What
agree
else do
with
you
you
want?
when you said that Allah cannot be his creation. Of course, no Muslim believes that. But when you said to Dog Dog is that you know something that Allah doesn't know, that is strange, bro.
It's
You
not
cannot say I
strange.
know
Benny,
something
Benny,
Allah
I
does.
explained
It's
it to you. I
strange.
explained
Oh
it to
my God.
you. I explained it to you, but you either don't want to accept it or you can't
Okay,
comprehend it.
explain it again, please,
So
for
what
the
can
audience. Explain
no,
it for the audience.
no,
For the audience.
no, I'm not going to explain it to you again because I'm just going to at that point be repeating myself. I already explained it to you. You can take it or leave
You
it.
cannot say about Allah he doesn't know something, bro. You cannot do
Okay,
that.
Benny.
Benny, listen. This is the whole point. You are trying to tell me what I can and cannot say. I don't want to take any advice from you. I don't care what you say.
Okay, give me one scholar who says that Allah doesn't know something, right? Who talks like,
Yeah,
give me,
yeah, Sheikhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah.
what did he say?
I can give you the source. I can show you
Yeah.
where he talks just like this.
Muslim man, do you understand what I mean, Muslim man? Let's give other perspective of Muslim man. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not here to fight you, Muslim.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Alaikum assalam.
Uh, yeah, I
Hang on
understand.
before you jump in. I've been trying to get one sentence
Yeah,
out to
go
Benny
ahead.
while Jake
Sorry.
is getting in that resources. It so Benny, if you're on the face value presenting to me what seems like a logical contradiction, and you're saying this is Islam, I have to accept this to be Muslim, then I would outright reject your version of Islam as being an illogical contradiction. I wouldn't even entertain you any further on that sense. So it has to be rational first. If it's not rational, then I'm just not interested in that sense.
Benny, I'm going to read you something from Imam Ibn Askar al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah. I'm going to begin the quote while Jake probably gets you that. Hopefully, maybe he'll get you the citation by Ibn Taymiyyah, but I'm going to give you just a quote by one of the Imams. In general, those who reject this is related to philosophy. I'm just going to advise you to read a little bit. And here's just a scholar who's mentioning this, so I can back up my claim and not talking out of my rear end, just to back it up. In general, those who reject ilm al-kalam, they are of two types. An ignorant person who depends on taqleed. It is difficult for him to obtain knowledge, understanding, and is incapable of critical thinking. People who are hostile to what they are ignorant of, when he was unable to master this knowledge, he forbade others, so that people would go astray like himself who went astray. The second person, a person who adheres to corrupt doctrines, holds himself within his hidden heresies, confuses other people with the faults of his creed, and hides them from the filthiness of his creed. Because he knows that the knowledgeable people from those of insight in ilm al-kalam will expose his heresies and reveal to others his ugly statements, translated by Musa al-Maghribi. What J.K. was trying to tell you is that God knows true statements. True statements are exactly that. What is the case? What is truth? The truth of the matter, the fact of the matter, I am not God and God is not me. Therefore, he cannot know that he is me. It's not that complicated, bro. This is literally something they're going to teach
God,
you in like an
but God
introductory
knows false
lecture.
statements as well.
Yeah, he knows false statement as well, bro. The keyword
So
is
if you,
no.
for example, if you say a statement and the statement is incorrect, and Allah is all knowledgeable, then Allah knows that your statement is wrong. It's a false
Yeah.
statement.
So the statement that God knows He is me is false because He is not me.
Of
It would be
course.
a false. Yeah. So Benny, Muslim actually agrees with me. He wasn't agreeing with you.
No, just a minute. Just a minute, akhi. Uh, Allah is all knowledgeable. Okay. Now
So
we can bring uh, examples of what he knows and what he doesn't know until we die. Okay, and that will be just affirming that Allah is all knowing. So for me, I think it's a mute point.
I mean,
And discussing
brother,
these issues, discussing like the attributes of Allah, uh, it causes fitna.
it does not cause fitna. You're accusing
It
the
Yeah,
causes
yeah.
scholars of
fitna,
causing
Every
bro.
fitna.
It
every
causes
every
fitna.
Imam, if you for example, if you take Imam Ahmad, what did he say about these issues?
You
What
tell
did he
me.
say
I don't know. You tell me.
about what?
About not discussing the Asma al Sifat when there are laymen listening. We avoid these arguments unless we have been
Listen,
challenged.
Benny's the one that keeps bringing it up. So why don't you tell him
Yeah?
to
No, no, I'm
just
not.
be
I'm not
quiet?
speaking against Jake, brother Jake. I'm not speaking against you. I'm just saying in general. Okay. So, for example, if brother Benny is the one who brought this issue up, he shouldn't. And if he is
No,
not
no, no.
challenging you,
No. I was clear. No, I was because I know this thing will come back to hunt Muslim 100%. It will come back to hunt you if Muslims saw this clip, bro. I was Muslim. I'm just
Oh
giving
my
you that. I
God,
love you,
dude.
bro. I love you for the sake of Allah, bro. You know, I respect you, bro. You are one of the top debaters.
Listen, dude.
But that
Honestly,
clip will come back to
you
haunt
are
you,
biting off more than you can chew, my friend. I'm telling
bro.
you,
Bro, if Muslims saw that
guys,
clip,
guys,
they will come back to
yeah,
hunt you.
I'm gonna tell you,
let's be respectful.
listen, I'm
Barakallahu
telling you,
fikum. Let's be respectful.
you're really pushing my buttons, and I really just kind of lost my voice like 2 days ago. I don't want to blast you out of the water, but you're pushing my
Okay,
buttons.
cool, bro. Okay, I love you,
And
bro. I love you.
you don't need to soften your words by saying, "Oh, it will come back to harm," but I love you at the same
No, it
time.
will. Trust me.
That is not a nice
If
thing to
he's not
say.
clarifying, because if Muslims
He
saw that,
clarified. You just don't
especially the lame
understand.
Muslims, right? The
You don't
Muslim.
have the qudra. You don't have the ability to understand what he's saying. Khalas, that's
No,
humble.
I
Just
understand what
accept
he's
that and
saying,
go read.
bro. Bro, I agree with him when he said that Allah cannot be His creation. But I disagree when he said Allah doesn't know, that Muslim metaphysics knows something that Allah doesn't know. That is dangerous language. That's the only thing. And it will come back to
Yeah,
haunt you, bro.
sure.
It will come
Okay,
back to
we
haunt you.
already discussed this, bro.
We're not going back
We're
to it,
not
bro.
just gonna keep repeating the same point, Benny.
I love you, bro. I love you.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.